Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. I got in a new fragrance today, the new Yves Saint Laurent Myself. Yeah, this guy right here, this guy. This one kind of came out of nowhere, didn't really expect it, and then I saw it announced on a number of websites, and I covered it in This Week in Fragrance, talking about upcoming releases. And then like right after I did that video, everything basically got scrubbed off the internet, and then it just popped up. Available at stores. So I went ahead and bought myself a bottle, and let me tell you, it ain't cheap. So this one runs you between $89 and $148, depending on the size that you get. I got the size right in the middle, which is a 2-ounce size bottle that I paid $123 for, but it's available at a bunch of different retail stores now. So I think you can find it at like Sephora, Macy's, Ulta, just wherever. I have this one linked in the description below. Feel free to check it out down there and use these codes if you would like to save some money at a plethora of different fragrance websites. For now, let's go ahead and take a look at this presentation. Then we can start talking about myself. So here we got the box. You have a YSL MYSLF, the size, concentration, all right there on the front. It is gonna be a little bit reminiscent of like the YSL Libra presentation for women. It says Myself on both sides of the box. You have the YSL logo up top. On the back, it's letting you know it is refillable. You also have your precautions, your ingredients, all that information on the back. Then on the bottom, your batch code. Mine is 38X3002. So here we have the bottle. It's all blacked out, a thinner, taller bottle style as compared to maybe the Y presentation. Everything is blacked out, I should say, except for the concentration at the bottom there, eau de parfum. You have a sticker on the bottom of the bottle with your badge code and a little YSL on top of the cap. And the cap does click into place. Let's go ahead and share a couple sprays here on the old tester strip so we can check out the atomizer. Here we go. Pretty good, pretty much the same as you'll find on a lot of the other YSL fragrances. All right, let's finally start talking about myself, how myself smells. YSL just has a great way with names. So this one, when it was first announced, I was kind of partially confused by, I guess you could say, mainly just because it has this fully blacked out presentation, and then it's an eau de parfum. And when I looked at the note breakdown, I thought to myself, well, that doesn't seem very much like a fall and wintertime fragrance, like what you would expect from a presentation that looks like this, I guess. And then it's also coming out in August, so kind of toward the end of summer. It just didn't seem like it all fit together. But that's all in the rearview mirror now because I've actually got the fragrance so I can smell it and tell you how it comes across. Well, first things first, I guess. This has been compared to a bunch of other fragrances out there already. So for example, we have a Uomo Born in Roma from Valentino, Ralph's Club, and also this one, YSL Y Le Parfum. I can kind of understand the Y Le Parfum if for no other reason than because they're both YSL and they both come in blacked out bottles. So a lot of people are gonna be like, huh? 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 Probably pretty close. So does this indeed smell like this, and a number of other fragrances out there? Well, yes, and also no. So myself, when I first sprayed this on, I had my wife right there. I was like, hey, check this out, it's the new YSL. First words out of her mouth were, that reminds me of a bunch of other things out there. And that's the first thing that I thought too. It does remind me and her, and probably you, of possibly even dozens of fragrances out there. But when you actually start comparing side by side, it's different. Does it smell like it's in the same wheelhouse as Born in Roma? Yeah. When you spray them on side by side, does it smell like Born in Roma? No. You can tell pretty easily which one is which. Same thing goes for Ralph's Club. Same thing goes for Y Le Parfum. Same thing goes for pretty much everything that it's gonna kind of remind you of. This is one of those fragrances that, for better or worse, smells like a lot of things out there, but then also kind of its own thing at the same time. It opens with bergamot and bergamot leaf, and it's a little bit green, very fresh, kind of juicy as well, and it has sweetness, but it's not overly sweet in the opening. It's really pleasant, clean, easy wearing, comes across like a great spring, summertime, daytime fragrance, office fragrance right off the bat. That's how it hits you. Pretty quickly on, that kind of zingy, fresh bergamot, it starts to step back and you get more orange blossom. So it's a little bit pillowy, still has that citrus sort of feeling to it, just not as zingy, not as poppy. It has a warmth that starts to settle in and a little bit of like a soapiness, a little clean soapiness, but without the powder. Then as it dries down, it takes on more of an ambroxan, ambery sort of almost tonka sweetness, mixing with remnants of that orange blossom, that again, pillowy sort of citrus vibe into the dry down. So it stays clean, it stays easy wearing. The sweetness, it ramps up a bit as it dries down and it maintains that sweetness, but it doesn't go overloaded. So when you compare it to something like Born in Roma is sweeter than Myself. But Myself does still have similarities to this, and a bunch of other things out there. It's like almost the poster child for the generic, kind of sweet, but easy wearing, compliment pulling men's cologne fragrance. That's kind of how this comes across. It's like taking the general ideas of fragrances like these that are a little bit deeper and, as I said a number of times, warmer, sweeter, taking that vibe, but then freshening it up and making it easier to wear day to day during spring, summer, and early fall. And like I said, when I did first spray this on, my wife's very first words, it reminds me a lot of other things. And I was kind of hemming and hawing on it. I was like, well, yeah, it does. And, you know, it's nothing really new, not anything that's gonna necessarily set itself apart from its competition. But as I was saying that, she was just kind of cutting me off, like, no, it smells great. And I would kind of hem and haw a little bit more, yeah, I don't know, and she would just cut me off again. It smells really good. Like, it smells awesome. So suffice it to say, my wife loves it. It's been a long time since I've gotten an instant reaction like that from her, because she's been kind of like a fragrance guinea pig for years and years. She smelled everything under the sun. And so it's not very common for her to just immediately kind of cut me off and just be like, no, it smells awesome. I don't care what you're saying right now. I don't care that you're saying, you know, it's been done. I don't care that you're saying that maybe it's a little generic. I don't care about any of that. It smells awesome. You should wear that. That doesn't happen often. More often what happens is I spray something on, have her smell it, and she just kind of goes, yeah, that's nice, and then she's gone. Or I don't like that, and she goes off and does whatever. But this one, for whatever reason, just kind of hit different. So for me personally, I'm seeing both the pros and the cons here. If you were wanting something extremely new, something very different, this is not that whatsoever. A little green around the edges and the opening in the mid, a nice citrusy blast in the open. That's not tart, I should say. It doesn't have any of that rindiness to it. It's just as pleasant as could be. And then that quickly segs into the orange blossom, which doesn't have any animalic facets to it or anything like that. It's a warm, sweet, semi-sweet, I should say, slightly citrusy, white floral, just extremely appealing and a little soapy, as I said, but without the powder. And then ambroxany, ambery, tonka sort of sweetness in the base. You'll probably hear 20 different fragrances mentioned that smell similar to this, or that this reminds people of this. And yet, it works. I think spring, summer, early fall, daytime especially, it would work fantastically. It would be a really good office fragrance. There's nothing at all here that's potentially divisive. It's made for the masses, and it will work for that. Is it as attention-grabbingly loud as this, or this? I don't think so. But my wife also reacted more strongly toward this in a positive way than any of those, so who knows? Maybe with more testing, this would be a bit of a spring and summertime beast. Goodbye, friends. So there we go, YSL MYSLF. I am at once struck by this fragrance being so reminiscent of just a rainbow of different fragrances, and yet somehow working really well on its own. Stay safe out there, guys. I will see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later. Oh, my phone flew out. Sorry, somebody was trying to call me. Jesus. Well, what am I trying to say? God, I'm so sorry, like I'm brain farting so hard right now.